Yeah, but if you say you want Obi on the ticket, right, and you're also open to coalition, something must give. That's the honest truth. It's like the devil and the deep blue sea, right? So I just want people to just think about this carefully. But for me, my position is clear, right?
Comrade,
Anything, oh, guys,
comrade,
guys,
let
please,
me
pharmacy, please, let me just finish my statement here. Yeah. So anything that comes out of this ticket, because I think I've gotten to that point where we say, I just want APC to leave that power, right? Because I have asked myself, what do I stand to lose? The answer is nothing. Like even if another party come into power, right? What do I have to lose? Yeah, so that when you ask yourself that question, see that you have nothing to lose. Yeah, you go all out. So that's my position. Pharmacy quickly, then we go to Engineer OJ.
please. I'm not trying to divide people that people as in the middle belt as in they are not important. Let me tell you, I was in those State for the 2023 election and all that, and
And
most
pharmacy,
of our
pharmacy. I beg, just leave this
now
whole.
now
This move your mind.
let me
So
just bring one little so that you understand. People were telling us at
pharmacy,
that time
pharmacy.
that
There's
the
nothing.
Igbos,
Pharmacy. Hold on. Okay,
yeah.
let's assume you did not say that. You understand?
Mm.
I'm just putting more
No, I want to
clarity
just
to
make a
this.
little clarity. I just want to make a little clarity to it.
Pharmacy. Just
Yeah.
leave it. Let me just
Mm.
move on. Eh? We'll move on.
Mm.
I know how this thing will go. You go tell a long story. You can't use 1 minute to finish the story.
No,
Please
no,
just
no,
let.
not be. It's not going to take more than maybe
Oh yeah, go
IF two
ahead. Go
minutes or
ahead.
one
Go
minute.
ahead.
What I was going to say, when in 2023 election, the most people from Benin and Asia, they always attack me. Say, ah, your people, the Igbos are not speaking for Peter Obi. I told them personally, we are not interested in politics. They say, but people are shouting Obi, Obi, Obi. I say, when the time comes, they will speak. Look, let all the people say the Midwest, the wait in the North Central is not for Peter Obi. When the time comes, they will speak. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So even if let's assume Obi even pick up a fight, it's not maybe say Obi won't go win Northwest. Now that 25%, right? It's just about the 25%. Just
Comrade, if you can win it, you win it. If you cannot win it, you get some
exactly you
states
get you
independent
close
body.
that gap well. Yeah. You close the gap. Exactly. So anyways, okay, engineer OJ, go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, Nigerians, and quite interesting that we are still on this conversation. Basically, my response to the last speaker, farmer, is it pharmacy or so? I believe he's speaking for himself because Obi have not shown any attitude to say that he won't go to court after the election. He has been his core doctrine to always head to court, and he has also been in his nature not to demonstrate or protest, even when he said that people agitated in his house. But basically, we should be able to know the terrain and then, push our conversation based on them, the features that we have, so far been able to, identify. Well, the topic, for example, the total
Sorry,
state
engineer OJ, for full disclosure, who do you support? Like in terms of your politics?
Show worry, show worry, show worry.
I don't support peace. I don't support people. I support ideology and
No,
policies.
no.
And
Hello. Okay, so which political party do you support?
hold on, please. I don't support people or person. I
Fourteen
support
thousand
ideology.
votes.
Hold,
Fourteen
hold on,
thousand
guys,
votes.
guys,
That's the one
guys.
you
No,
support.
no, 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 no. We can't do this. Onyeoje, just be honest and straightforward. As I said for full closure. Okay, which political party do you support? Let's say you don't support people. Which political party you don't do you support?
Do you want me to talk or you don't want me to talk?
Do you want to engage or you want to just give some a monologue
I'm
and
not,
leave?
I'm not engaging you. I'm not engaging you. I was making my submission and you jump in and you
And
ask a
yes, I
question.
have been jumping
I want
in.
to.
Wait, hold on,
I
hold on,
want to.
hold on, hold on, hold on. I have been jumping in when every speaker have been speaking, and it is only you that have a problem with that. So, are you here for a good faith conversation, or you just want to dump a whole load of loads of words and leave? Just so that's the thing there. So, don't tell me you are making. I've been doing that. If you were here on this place and you saw what I was doing, and you still came to speak, right? You saw the terms
No,
and
no.
conditions.
I don't have a problem with you jumping in. It's your right to do that. But when you do that, you also have to give me the privilege to listen to my response
Okay,
to you.
so I jumped in and I asked for full disclosure. Which party do you support? It's simple.
Then me, I'm also responding to you that I don't base my support on parties. I base on ideology and policies. And as far as I'm concerned, so far, the only party that have ideology and policies that are centered on the people are AAC and SDP. And SDP don't have a candidate that comes out well. So I turn my
Okay.
support to AAC. I hope that helps you, right?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. So basically, when it comes to state capture, we know that in terms of institutions and establishment, and other wings of the government, it has all totally been captured. Both the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, and then also the government at the center, the subnational, and the local, have almost been captured because more people are defecting to the incompetent APC-led government because they don't base their governance thought on ideology. Now, when it comes to one-party state, when you elect a president of the country, any statement or public comment made by the president is bound to be official. And the president standing in a summit in the public and make a statement that one party state is the realization or the divisions of his existence as a president, clearly state that truly we are tending towards that. And it is the only lifeline in erasing that or not allowing that to come to possibility is the people, the collective reactions of the people, right? And very sudden, the people are still pretending to be sleeping, and some are still allowing their affiliations and interests, and their theoretical dots down to cloud their thoughts of revolutionary citizens mindset. Now, when you come to one term, the president is going, is incompetent. He has historically failed. Nigerians have seen hardship. The economy has become bad. Inflation is high. His policies are anti-people, are not working. And Nigerians can't come to the point of continuing in this damage and destructions and scala society or a country. So basically, in an average Nigerian, if you are to run a statistics, very clearly shows that Nigerians don't have support for the president. So by constitution, he has 4 years, which he is almost doing 2 years. And so Nigerians in the position of the average Nigerian, in the large percentage, believe that as a president, he should go. Though the political class and influencers and the media, structures that have been installed by this incompetent government and establishment elite might try to propagate, the betterment or maybe effectiveness of, holding strong of this president. But clearly, the president does really stand on a very, possible chance of exit, when the next election comes. So now, I go to the coalition, which is very important. When it comes to coalition, we need to be very, very careful. That has always been my position. When you gather, for example, as we gather here now discussing, we are heading towards somewhere. And my question is, as we gather here and talking since in the morning, is it centered on the people, or is it centered on the interest of engineer, or what is my take home? If my conversation here centered on the people, then I've done justice to humanity. Now, this coalition we're talking, let's not forget, that a lot of characters in this so-called in quote coalition have been, of questionable characters. In fact, in the position of the movement which some of us belong to, which I call them obedient NGOs, because they're not a movement per se, they've called these people criminal structures. And
Alpha, okay, wait, I'm not the one. I mean, I found, are you, check them, are you mute?
okay, it's not a problem. Maybe it's a glitch. Nigerians are full with glitches and deception, and so it's not a problem.
Sorry,
So obedient.
hold on, so hold on, because I was away, I just came back now. So,
So hold
what I
on,
like, if
comrade.
you,
This
no,
guy.
Gamma, I make I just address something. Yeah, OJ, if you want to insult people, because like if I open the speaker now, like a lot of people will go engage you, right? So you don't have that monopoly. That's just one thing I want you to know. Yeah, but anyways,
No. This guy
good man,
just looked
anyway.
us in the face and told us that the obedient movement is a criminal structure. That is coming from somebody who supports a blackmailer. You know, I don't think there's any discussion to even be had here. Let's just move on, I beg.
Yeah, okay, let's move on then. OJ, I mean, at least say we let you speak now, but I mean, you have a way of undoing your own self on spaces. But um, let's go to the next speaker. Does they go ahead?
Hello, good morning. Good morning, my fellow comrades.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
It is, it's very funny. It's very funny that we still don't understand the danger we all face in this habitat called Nigeria. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. Somebody will look at an innocent movement like the obedient movement and say it's criminal. My brother, you see, every day I wake up in the morning, I kneel and pray for Nigeria to just be better for everybody. I pray to God to kill politic business. This business of politics should end in Nigeria. It has ravaged the entire country. People are benefiting one naira from the cake, the national cake of this country, to the extent they are blind to certain benefits and rights that should get to their neighbor. Why are we so self-centered in this country? Somebody left his space where he can move to any country he likes. He can enjoy himself. He's not losing out in anything, and he sacrifices himself to poor Nigerians. The person who spoke last, I don't know his father, I don't know his mother, I don't know anybody. I don't even know him. Where is he in the space, in the structure and the betterment of this country? Look at what's his name, Traore, a 35 or 37-year-old boy is running the affairs of that nation, and the people are standing with him and saying, "Go on, we know that you are doing it right." And we still have Nigerians who are suffering from the system. Trace this particular fellow back to his home. You will see poverty everywhere because of the nasty system going on. Look at yesterday. Yesterday on national TV, we are being insulted by a handpicked leader because we are not saying anything. I don't think we are angry enough. I don't think Nigerians are angry enough. Do you know what it is to be very angry? There are certain institutions in this country that Nigerians are not aware of because of corruption. Does Nigerians know the benefits of the NHIS? There are so many institutions that are tied to government and governance that is meant to fix and look out for the issues of Nigerians, down to the least person who nobody knows his father or his mother. But because we have failed to be united, we only jump around following somebody who you don't even know his mission. You don't know what his antecedents are. You just go around insulting. Yeah, obedience. Let me school this man who just spoke, because I got very
No,
angry
no,
when
no,
I
no,
heard him.
no. Does it just move on? Just move on. I beg. Let's not make this face about this man, please.
The business of state capture and one-party state is not healthy for Nigeria. It reminds me of the cancer Wike was talking about. Because, and let me tell you something, I laugh at these guys when they start counting their eggs or their chicks when the eggs has not hatched yet. 2025 to 2027 is far. The controller of the universe can change a lot of things before 2027. And these men, I just laugh at them. A politician in Anambra was bragging and talking about how the APC is going to do this and do that in Anambra and this, that. Where is he today? You are talking. See, these guys go up there, sit at the corridors of power, and start to see themselves as God. Nobody can take the place of God. Look at that nasty senator from Ebonyi. Look at what he's saying. Look at what he's coming out from. If that man does not have the opportunity to find himself in the red chamber, can he come out and speak about and insult poor Nigerians? That just for your plane to land, you need to be seeing beautiful buildings, so they should remove those people living in those areas, mocking the indigenes of Abuja. This man can come out and speak like that because he understands that the system has been captured. That positive system we enjoyed during the times of Jonathan, Yaradua, and rest, he knows deep down that Nigeria is a captured state. Nigerians are captured people. That is the reason why, in a sane climb during the Yaradua era, can any politician come out and talk that nonsense? Nigerians are not angry enough. And in this time and season when we are drowning, somebody is coming out and calling self-centeredly, maybe he's benefiting something from Shawari or something like that. Amidst 200 million Nigerians and more, you just single Nigerians, we are so self-centered in this country, and that is the reason why we are where we are. Once it is well with us in our small space in the corridor of power, we hang the Nigerian flag and say, oh, no, the president is doing very well. But I believe strongly in my spirit. 2023 will not repeat itself in 2027. The government in power has not done anything for the poor Nigerians. Motherland Nigeria is crying. And these men are on top of our head, insulting us and telling us that sweep what? What was that statement this man was talking about? Sweep them clean. Sweep waiting clean. Let's watch and see. Nigerians are not angry enough, but I pity the crop of youths who come out and be talking. See, these guys are playing with our destiny. If you have given birth to kids right now, those children are in trouble because of the crop of leaders. These guys have no plans. They don't have 5-year plan. They don't have 6-year plan or 10-year plan.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Doze. Thank you. Thank you. Doze, see, you do that same thing. Just to complain about the problem, complain. And if we continue that way, it will become a culture and nothing will happen if 2020 this will come and go. Yeah, Doze. Let us just, it is what it is. Just see that it is what it is. Yeah. Now, just focus on, okay, how to undo now solutions now, right? And that's why, okay, people they talk of one party state coalition, blah blah blah. So you see that diagnosis of problem. I think we have overflogged that issue since 2022, right? So and we all have a consensus on it. You understand? So I'm not even trying to short you, but I'm just trying to like, okay, fine. It's better we do things differently because I feel like this whole problem diagnosis is something we did in 2023 because we were campaigning in good faith. Yeah, because we want to show. I mean, you want to win electorates. Yeah, so um, at this point in Nigeria, you don't need to win anybody over. Anybody that has not been won over by the state of the nation, yeah, we don't need to do that anymore, right? So now I feel like the focus is um um like having an alternative to match this government in power and remove this government in power. Yeah. So when I discuss these days of space, I feel like yeah, your productivity is limited, so you can as well channel a lot of it in that angle. Yeah, if you are complaining that these leaders are bad, we all know that. Yeah. If you are complaining that an absolute minority are collecting paid gigs to promote, everybody knows that this is not a new information. It's not a breaking news, right? Yeah, those are, yeah. But back to you, 1 minute, then maybe we move on. I just want to, yeah, I just they get that 2022 vibe all over again, and it's not a good thing for me, you know. And for yeah,
Yeah, I was really sorry. I'm my brother. I'm very angry. I'm telling you, I love Nigeria so much, and I know we can be better than this. You know. So going forward, please, I want us to be in their faces. I like the way my president is in their faces, correcting them every day. The obedience anthem should be out there. We should look for skit makers, people. Let them start singing these songs. Let's mop up ourselves, unite strongly, because I tell you, they are scared of us. They are really scared of poor Nigerians, stranded Nigerians. They don't know what we can do. You know, that's the reason why they are starting a campaign in 2025 when you've not done anything. May God see us through. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Those are good suggestion. Of course, like this whole part of being in their face because I like that part. You see, as at 2 weeks ago, right when all these politicians were all the camping, they tried to put the, I mean, put the mindset in Nigeria that just give up, it's over. Yeah, but since 2 weeks, the direction of the discussion have changed. Right, Nigeria is realizing that it's a lie. With despite the power of incumbency, despite that the fact that you are trying to become a one-party state, you are still beatable. Right, as long as Nigerians don't want you, you will still leave that office. Yeah, so and that is that's a big progress because yeah, they already invested resource, yeah, to try to put that like no lose condition, one party state, like statement after statement, there will be no other opposition. Yes, it is only Tinubu. They you know, they have been doing all that, but despite that, Nigerians are still fighting. Yeah, you know, like the a possible scenario is for everybody to just give up. Say, okay, we are helpless, we can't do anything. But that's not the case now, and I think it's a good thing. Yeah, but let's go to Meta. Before Meta, Chukwudema, are you here? Because me, I go soon leave. Chukwudema, Chukwudi. Okay, Meta.
Okay. Yeah.
Meta. I want to leave, but it's unfortunate that Chukwudema is not here. Will you moderate this space? Like,
No, no, no. I'm at work.
no. Hold on,
Not
hold on. Okay,
possible.
make a find who go moderate for me now before I leave
Please, yeah. I'm
because
at work. I only
hold,
just like snipping to just drop one
hold
call
on,
at
hold on.
headquarters. Yeah.
Just hold on. Let me just solve this problem before I leave. Yeah. I will go Saki. No. So is there anybody here? Okay, now no. Well, once you drop your submission, you can leave now. You can just leave this place. And, yeah. So, but
Okay. Thanks, the comrade for the mic. Alpha. Good morning to you, and good morning to everybody.
sorry, that's a mistake. I wanted to mute my own mic.
Okay. Again, I say thank you, comrade, for the mic. Thanks, Alpha, for giving me the mic. Good morning to everybody. I think to truly understand the beef between El Rufai and Tinubu, you really have to look at Shetima and 2031. That's all I'll say about that, really. But to understand the real issue between Tinubu and El Rufai, just look at Shetima and 2031, and you slowly begin to comprehend. My issue about the total capture of this Nigerian state is simply this. Uh, it is the people that you employed in government that are messing around. They are just employees. I will continue to say that to Nigerians. These people are just employees. And who is the employer? Nigerians are the employer. So I think Nigerians really need to focus on themselves as the employers. Are these employees doing the job that they've been employed to do? Forget about whether all the employees are coming together and aligning themselves. Nigerians should not forget that they are the employer, and that means that they can sack these people. Okay? If I was the obedient management, I'll be thinking about strategizing to capture millions of more Nigerians, going into the 2027 election, because ultimately it is the number of votes that will make the difference. But I'm sure the obedient management, are strategizing, behind the scenes, because if they capture millions of more Nigerians, their voice will be even more, clear in 2027 than 2023. So I just want to say that I myself, as a Nigerian, I'm not bothered about this state capture. I am not bothered about all this meddling between the government elites aligning themselves. What's the word they use? Moving from one party to the other. I'm not bothered about all that, really. I will only become bothered if millions of Nigerians, are defeated. I hope we are not, because Nigerians are the actual employers. All these people in government, from the president to the least government official, is just an employee. Yeah, and it's Nigerians that will decide whether those people continue to remain after 2027. Now, some will say that this argument I make is unrealistic, that I don't quite understand the Nigerian political terrain. Well, my argument to them is that there is no difference between the Nigerian political terrain and every other terrain in the globe that is practicing democracy. Okay, and we're in a global village now. No country is sort of isolated, not even a country like Nigeria. So if the Nigerian people come out overwhelmingly and decide that this is who they want, that will just be it. I think some of the problems that we have is that we have a divided population that are not resolved in what they have decided for themselves. So if we're able to capture more of the population to see the vision of, changing Nigeria government, then we might succeed. So that's also all I want to say, really. We should focus our opposition in galvanizing the people. We should not be distracted by what the political elites are doing, aligning themselves. We should not be distracted by all of that, because that does not determine a win. What determines a win is the amount of votes that is accredited to a particular contender. So that's what determines a win. I know that INEC, they play their games, but if the Nigerian people decide and resolve that they will monitor INEC to ensure that the votes that were lodged are the votes that are actually counted correctly, the true winner of the election will emerge. Yeah. I always say this because I know that the power is in the hands of the people. The power is not in the hands of all these elites that we are talking about. The power is really in the hands of the Nigerian people. And if only the Nigerian people will recognize that they are the owners of Nigeria. Otherwise, we might as well just give democracy back to America. Tell America, sorry, we don't like this. This is not working for us. I think one of the Nigerian presidents has even said it, not too long ago. But if we are practicing democracy, I have to say again, democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people. It is the people that is the government. It is the people that employ government officials. Yeah? I'm only saying this again and again so that Nigeria should not be dismayed by all of these state capture, elites aligning themselves. No, don't worry about all that. If you can get millions of Nigerians, in fact, if I was me in charge of something, I'll try to capture like 30 million Nigerians. If I'm able to capture 30 million Nigerians, we will win the election. If I'm able to capture 30 million devoted Nigerians to a mission, that election is won. Period. Yeah? I want to see who can defeat about 30 million Nigerians that actually voted and ensure that their votes are counted. I want to see who can defeat that. So Nigerians in millions, in masses, are actually the power, not the elite. I'm not worried about Tinubu. I'm not worried about all these things that he's doing. Just let me end by saying this. Let's not forget that all Tinubu is doing and all this thing is so that he can get these governors and all these, government elites to be able to facilitate people in 2027 to vote for him. Yeah? If we're able to capture all these people, because in the end, it comes just back down to people. If we're able to capture these people, to see that the government that that is presiding over them have not done a good job, and they are able to change that government because they themselves are the government. That's the end of it. 30 million people, and this government is unseated in 2027. It is us, the people, that makes that happen, not the government elite. Thank you, guys.
Can you
I was going to speak to the last speaker. In 20,
wait? Is the ego talking?
no, he's not talking.
His mic was unmuted, so probably he has problem. Okay, so go on. After you go to Chris,
Okay,
that they only have.
I have a question for the last speaker. In 2023, I want to say that the obedient movement were able to galvanize a lot of Nigerians, even more than 30 million. They,
That voted in that last election.
yeah, and I tell you,
More than 30 million voted in that last election.
see, a lot of I don't want to just throw in numbers like that, but I tell you, we're able to galvanize a lot of.
Now,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yeah, better
So
now.
I was saying that the last speaker spoke about galvanizing 30 million votes. And he also made mention that the realignment of elite doesn't matter. That what matters is the Nigerian people. And I'm trying to say this, that are you saying this based in a country whereby the even population of Nigeria is uncertain, which the criminal element has always manipulated it for their own good? And also the elites who you're saying that their realignment doesn't matter are themselves the controllers and deciders of their followers. I understand what you're saying by trying to educate and enlighten and encourage the masses about the need for democracy being a government of the people. But you see here, I want us to always understand that Nigeria democracy is not the actual democracy. What we are practicing is civilian rule, civilian men in democratic form, but they are not democratic. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know how to put this for you people to get it. But what I'm trying to say,
Kakistocracy.
yeah, what I'm trying to say is this: there's nothing like democracy in Nigeria. And right now, I repeat, right now, we, the citizen, have to play the game. And this game, it is, let's tell ourselves first the truth. Because the beginning to sort a problem is by first of all telling yourself the truth. And what is the truth? Listen. I'm not here for blabbing. No matter the agreement of the Nigerian citizens, we know who won 2023 election. No matter what you have to tell me, the reason we lost the 2023 election that the citizens could not mount their vote in the polling unit and blah blah blah. It is a foul. I repeat, it is foul because I myself mounted my vote. My people will do the same to the world. But listen, let me tell you something. I want you to know that these people, no matter how you do in this Nigeria, backed by criminal elements, will most surely have their way. And going forward, something is on the table. And what is that which is on the table? We have practiced this system of Nigerians by Nigerians in 2023. It didn't work out. Now, we have to check the other means, re-strategize. And that is why I'm saying this for whoever cares to listen. Politics is not for sense. And if you want a sense, go and get a pastor, maybe even an NjenjeMedia. Before, I've been saying this, that P2B is a very good, credible candidate that doesn't need stand. But right now, my brother, I'm in the motion. I wish Grandmaster is here hearing me. Whatever it is, these bad elements that have always thwarted the vision of the Nigerian people, we, the Nigerians, could use them for our own good. We can use them for getting what we want, no matter how it comes. So what I'm saying, what I'm proposing is this. One, the Nigerian youths know where they are. That is,
those who are truly thirsty of change. Two, this realignment of the political elites has a role to play. Let us allow them play their role. If it comes out that Obi is leading this coalition, fine and good. If it comes out that Obi is seconding anybody, fine and good. Whatever they say, as far as it matters that removing this guy from Lagos is the objective, fine for me. That's what I have to say here.
Chris, are you there? Chris, you raise your hand. Are you there?
Yeah. Alpha, can you hear me?
Renan. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Good morning, Alpha, and good morning, everybody on the show. Okay. So speaking on the topic here right now, okay. I want to talk about guys, make my own suggestion. Most of the spaces is always emphasizing on trying to sell air refi to us, right? And totally speaking, I understand why he's always do that. Like seeing from his perspective, I really understand the angle that the guy is coming from. But here's the thing, here's a simple something I want us to understand. Since the 90s, we have been recycling. No, since the 60s actually, we have been recycling the same particular people in the corridors of power in Nigeria, and we've not gone anywhere.
Who was in
So
power in
20,
they are still in power today now?
they are still in power today. So they are not like
Eh?
we have not gone anywhere. We have not achieved anything. So we are playing the same politics, the same nonsense that we are playing all over, like every time,
Wait,
every 4 years, every 8 years. We
is it
keep
my network that is breaking or is this his own? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear him clearly?
All right.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
about
yeah.
can you hear Chris clearly? Because he
All right.
breaks.
Alfonso, we can hear you.
I mean, can you hear Chris when he was talking? Was he breaking?
Yes, I can hear him clearly.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on. You're kind of breaking small.
All right. So, we have been doing the same thing, playing the same politics all over, and we have not gotten anywhere. I mean, this was supposed to be a democracy, right? But see where this democracy ended up, and it's still taking us deep far into the trenches. So here's us to actually understand. I mean, people, and I understand where Jack is coming from. Pick the person that is ready to do the dirty work or that can do the dirty work. Why going with the person that has the lights that can actually change citizens? I understand that like very, very clearly. Particularly happened in 2019. I mean, I wouldn't say that article is equated to El-Rufai, but that took place in 2019. But just because we have been playing the same politics, recycling the same people all over again, playing the same Nigerian daily politics as a way of elevating citizens and developing, that is why it didn't work. So you cannot be doing same thing again and expecting a different result. So if you take 2023 election, Peter Obi decided to do something different, come out on his own, considering the fact that he's from the southeast. It has been long for a long time that they have been saying that he would all those sort of things, but he came out and challenged the status quo. See how that was that the political class or the political class of Nigerians is about to dismantle. Just that it's as if we are not really prepared for that 2023 election. That's why Peter is not the president of Nigeria as of today. So we cannot keep doing the same thing. This coalition that we're talking about, P2B, El-Rufai, so we can get people out of power. No.
Yeah, you're actually breaking from my end. See, I don't understand. Wait,
But can you hear me?
drop and
It's
drop and
also
come back.
breaking from my end too, but I think I can hear him.
I mean, it was because Diego said he could hear him clearly. That was why I left it. I mean, I was struggling to make sense of what he's saying. Come on, request the mic immediately. Okay, it's not even coming up again. So request the mic if you are still here. I can't even see you on this space. Mm. So anybody now? Arigosaki, are you there? He's not here. Well, whoever that wants to speak can go on. I think I was actually out of the space for a while.
Okay, you said that can go on should go on, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I was making a submission, but I was in haste because I wanted to do something. Listen, why I said what I said is because of this. You see, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Chukudima, I was saying something that I listened to Wiki when Wiki was speaking, and Wiki said something that the reason that he believed that the coalition is dead on arrival, and he gave his reasons why he felt that the coalition is dead on arrival. One, he said that the two leading candidates for the coalition, none are ready to sacrifice or compromise. He said that Atiku cannot drop his presidential ambition for P2P. And P2P himself cannot, because that his obedient movement will not allow that. Now, I want to speak from the perspective of the ruling party. They believe that these two cannot work, and they gave their reason. And I believe that argument represents the viewpoint of the ruling party. And now we are faced with what Wike has earlier on argued. And I wouldn't like a situation whereby the obedient movement or the Atiku camps or the coalition in general will be playing into the traps or into the system of the ruling party. And also, I wouldn't like a situation whereby the Nigerian youths will be given the old cargoes, the old guys, the old politicians, the mentality to always believe that they are smarter. Because for time long now, the old guys have always seems to have the upper hand in Nigerian politics, even when the younger guys seems to come up with an ideology. For instance, in 2023 or 2019, I remember they're not too young to run. And we saw the abuse, the momentum, and everything, and how it all fizzled away, and nothing happened. So, right now, I think if this could be the last time that the Nigerian youth can leverage on these old politicians to get what they want, fine and good. And whoever the moralist camp, the moralist part, who keeps on
So,
or who thinks that
so
I'm coming, I'm coming,
Diego,
I'm
let's wait, calm down. Let me ask you. Do you think that there should be age limits for people who run for office? Do you think so?
there should.
Okay, so I do not care about what Wike says. Wike is just one drunkard that knows how to that like to speed it. Nothing has ever said has been true, so I don't care about it. So if you look at it, right, what do you think should be the age limit for people who should run for office?
Now, if I'm to say the age limit for people who should run for office should be at least nothing, maybe we should learn from the Catholic Church. 76 is okay. 76, 79, it's okay.
79.
Yes, in the Catholic Church, 76, 79. So maybe for
Someone
us,
someone in 79 should run for office.
I said the age, like the limit at your 79, 76, 79, you shouldn't go vie for any position.
So what I'm saying, what you mean is someone is 79. Okay, the last age is 79. So someone is 79 should actually run, but if you're above 79, you shouldn't run. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, so which other job will you get at age 79?
No job.
So why? But if I ask you, do you believe presidency is a difficult job, right?
Very well. I agree.
But somehow we want. I mean, this whole
Can
democracy
I
is
make it
getting.
make sense to you? Now listen, let me make it make sense to you. I understand where you're going and I understand what you're saying. And that's why I say this time around, let the youths not play into the hands of these old men and always make them feel that they are smart. For instance, with what we have seen, tell you something. You said Wike is a drunk that has no relevance or what, but in 2023, the drunk was able to rig the election of Rivers State. In 2023, George Akume, the current SGF of the Federation, was able to rig the vote of Benue. In 2023, we saw them, we saw what happened. You see, we can't keep on saying this why the reality prove different. And that is my take. I think let this be the last straw. Let the youth leverage on these guys to actualize what they want. Because, for instance, you asked me a question if the task of presidency is a difficult one, and I said yes. But in Nigeria, for instance, or in Africa, the issue of leadership is not being seen the way it is in other countries. For an African, a leadership position of a presidency or a prime minister is one that has to do with come, stay, have the power, have everything, and just enjoy your life. And that has been what has been keeping us down. And now we know that currently there are
So,
a particular side of the country that doesn't care your age bracket or your age limit. What they care
wait,
about is their
wait,
interests. For
wait,
example, we
wait,
wouldn't be talking of Atiku if the
wait,
North is not the North.
calm down, calm down, calm
Afonso,
down.
are you getting me? Wait. Afonso, I want you to get
One
something.
second,
We wouldn't be talking
one
of the
second,
Atiku.
1 second, 1 second. The thing is this: the all this projection people make about Atiku is not actually proven, because if it's proven, we'll see it. The numbers, he doesn't have it. If he had it, we would have seen it in the past. So this whole thing that in
How?
North,
What do you mean by the number he doesn't have it in the past? Bring up your argument. Let me see.
I
I want to
mean,
get it.
this guy was fried when he ran against Buhari in the North. He won only 2 states in the entire North. I mean, that's actually terrible. He doesn't have the numbers. This last election, Tinubu also fried him in the same North. So if he has the numbers, he won't be cooked. No matter you say rigging, Obi, by INEC results, Obi won South. So no matter how well they are going to rig it, Obi won the South. So if Atiku is popular in the North, I mean, why will Tinubu be winning him in the North? So all this thing about Atiku this, Atiku that. What I said
Now,
that Wiki has started it.
Alfonso, while we try to make a permutation, we shouldn't also ignore the fact on ground. In 2023, how many states was APC controlling?
The APC are controlling more states now in the North than they were that time, in case you don't know.
That's what I'm asking. In the North, how many
Yeah,
states
so
were
APC
APC
in the
controlling
North
in
now.
2023?
In fact, PDP of today in the North has only 5 states. There are 19 states in the North. APC
Okay.
has 14 as of today, right? As of today, PDP has 5. So I don't. So if you
In
talk about
2023, how many states were APC controlling in the North? That's what I'm asking. Especially in the core North, Northwest, and Northeast.
it's similar thing, it's similar thing. Nothing change. Nothing much change. Minus
Now,
Zamfara that went back to PDP.
now,
Nothing
in,
much change.
in who won Katsina State?
Presidency. I mean, he
Yes.
won by about 2,000 or 5,000 votes.
Who won
That
Kaduna?
that's Atiku. Atiku won Kaduna.
Thank you. Now, in Sokoto, who won Sokoto?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But
Do you think if the ticket has been given to Obi, for instance, that Obi and Tinubu, that Obi would have win states in Kaduna,
see,
Katsina,
you
and
see where
Sokoto?
you see where you lost your calculation totally. What Atiku had in Castina was not victory, right? Most of the
Yes.
senators were APC. Calm down. Let me wait. Calm down. Calm down. Most of the senators were APC. He won by partly maybe 1,000 or 2,000 votes, right? Or three. Let me say he won with less than 10,000 votes. That is not victory, right? Again, if Obi was having the ticket of PDP, he wouldn't necessarily win Castina, right? And Tinubu will not still get Buhari's number in Castina. It's not going to happen. So Tinubu may win Castina or Kwankwaso may win Castina. I don't know, whoever they choose to vote, right? But probably get 400,000 votes, and Obi may get 200 and something thousand votes, right?
And
But
you believe in the
calm down,
northeast
calm
and not
down,
wait,
calm
you
down,
believe in
calm
the
down.
northeast and
Wait,
northwest.
wait,
Obi
now
might
calm
Ghana, wait, please don't be funny. You believe in northeast and
wait,
northwest. Obi might Ghana
wait,
at least 30% of vote in these states. He
calm
had
down,
Obi ran
calm down.
solo.
Calm down. If Obi was the only candidate running, go and look at 2011 election. I followed Nigerian election enough to know what my projection should be. Go and look at 2011 election. If Obi was the only candidate running in election, the 598,000 votes he got in Anambra would have been about 700,000 votes, because there won't be any, all the PDP people trying to reduce his votes, trying to discourage, all those things will not be there, right? If Obi was the only candidate running, what happened in Rivers State will not have happened. Both the PDP vote, APC vote, everything there, that both the one they wrote, the one they, all those things will go. In fact, if Obi was the only candidate running against Tinubu, right, if he had the PDP ticket, Southeast and South, the number of votes he got there, they said it's about 3 or 4 million, Abi. It would have been close to 9 million, like what Goodluck Jonathan did. So, if Obi was the only candidate running, the votes he got in Benue State, right, he would have gotten more than times three. You know why he would have gotten more than times three? Because he will be seen as a candidate who can win. There are so many people who voted for APC because they believe APC is likely going to win. There are so many people who supported PDP because they felt that PDP is the traditional party. And the 300 and something thousand votes, which I know he got more than, which went the other way in Benue, would have come to him. So he would have been doing he would have been doing by far more number. In Plateau State, for example, we got 400 and something thousand votes. PDP got 200 and something thousand votes. You know what would have happened if Obi was a PDP candidate? They would have gotten like 700,000 votes. By the time we would have finished, right, even in Southwest, where Tinubu came from, Obi would have still won Lagos, being more solid. Obi would have still made a lot of inroad in so many Southwestern states. Most of those PDP votes, he would have gotten it. By the time you come to North, right, even if Tinubu manages Buhari's number, it won't even be close at all. That is the gospel truth. Because if Obi was the candidate of PDP, PDP was in control of all the states in South, minus Cross River State, where their governor defected. And Obi even won there without even being in charge. So all those things you hear happened in Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and the rest, those places are traditional PDP states. Then you now turn up that is the candidate that the people want. He won there without being in PDP, and PDP still finished strong second there. Delta State and all those states, the numbers would have been overwhelming from only Southeast and South alone to cover anything that will come out from anywhere, because he will still do well in North Central. The number of votes he will get in North Central would have matched whatever Tinubu will get in Southwest. And mind you, Tinubu wasn't even a president at that time. So if you look at it, you talk about if Atiku, and that one, as I keep telling you, the numbers are not there for him. And I ask you again, who do you think? We should have a age limit for people who should run for office? I know why, because I don't really know the excitement. You say people do not care. Who told you that the Northerners do not care that you are representing 81-year-old person to represent them? Who told you that they won't care? I mean, who told you that that they don't factor in something? Things like that. I mean, all these assumptions, me, I don't necessarily do it because in reality, I
Now,
know.
Afonso, you speak because maybe, will I say, you haven't been in the north recently to hear the sentiments of the north. And you see,
Yeah,
when we stay
and
on, wait, I'm
Tinubu,
coming, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. When we stay on spaces,
wait first.
listen,
First of all, you started on wrong assumption. I was in the north most of the end of last year, right? 90. I mean, I was in the north, so that's the first wrong assumption. Secondly, this whole idea the North are angry, the North are angry. Yes, probably not. I don't know because they gave me the same vibe when Buhari was there. Oh, that they don't like this guy. Oh, he didn't do so well. Oh, somehow, Atiku came, they fried Atiku. Again, I mean, it doesn't matter what you think, right? APC is still a very solid party in the North. It doesn't matter. We can put all our. It's good that we make it look as if nobody is going to vote for them. But APC, there is no northern state where they will not get at least 35% of the votes if they are not winning the state. It doesn't matter who is your candidate. Kwankwaso, even if you like put two northerners, Kwankwaso and Atiku, combine them as presidential candidates. There is no single northern state in the 19 states where they won't get up to 35% of the votes. But I can beat my chest and tell you that Tinubu will not get 1% of votes coming from Anambra State. And I can still beat my chest and tell you that if the votes count in Imo State, he may not get up to 2%. I can still tell you that even in Enugu State, it doesn't matter what Peter Mba does, he won't still get anything. That is where you have pure rejection, right? But again, I don't really know. We do not speak. I do not base anything on. I do not base my own listing on assumption. I look at it based on the data that I can collect. Now, and I do this thing a lot. I sample people's opinion, right? You can ask people when, like, just through random question, what's their response? I mean, in the market, that's when you know where their sentiments lies. Most of their imams, most of their governors are still in the pockets of APC, and Tinubu will still settle some of them. So if you think that somehow they will turn out, and Atiku is not still that person that they trust so much. That's just the truth. Because if they have loved Atiku or trusted Atiku, they would have turned out for him in the last election, but they didn't. Because if they voted overwhelmingly for Atiku, and as you guys used to say, they don't rig the election in the north, he would have been the president. Not he would have been the president, Tinubu wouldn't have been anywhere close to power. Because I was hoping that Northerners won't vote for Tinubu. Because I know he was going to lose the South. Yeah, he kind of surprised me in Southwest, states like Ondo State and the rest. But again, the numbers he got from there were totally, in fact, whatever he got in Southwest, Obi numbers outnumber them a lot because it's just one geopolitical region, right? So if you talk about numbers, again, I will repeat, if anybody is fronting Atiku, personally, like I said, I think me and Onyeka are on the same page. If it's a coalition candidate and Obi is not running, personally, I may support him, or I will support the opposition. But do I think that he will win the election? I don't think so. To be honest with you, not even rigging. I mean, yeah, I know some elections are rigged. I know most elections are rigged in Nigeria, but I believe that even if they conduct free and fair election between Atiku and Tinubu in 2027, that Tinubu is going to win him. That is my personal conviction. It will take a lot for someone to convince me otherwise. Like where I am now, I'm in Delta State, right? Atiku is not even there. I mean, Atiku is not going to win Tinubu in Delta State today. It's when you call Obi that their sentiment changes. To be honest with you, I mean, where I am in Delta State now, as of this moment, Atiku is not going to win Tinubu. If he's going to win, it's going to be marginal. Like you pick 10 people, 10 people. Maybe five we say Tinubu, four we say Atiku. So that's not victory now. That's not victory. If he does that in the north, win him in that margin, does that in south, south, and southeast, you know what will happen in southwest? So I mean, the thing is this: anything you are saying, remember that Tinubu is the president. Remember that he will be in charge of the central bank. He will be in charge of the most of the press. He'll be making all the policies at the time that this election will be coming close. So if you are not having someone who is going to really give him run for his money, in terms of someone the people will come out and, because I mean, to be honest with you, lot of assumption, a lot of assumption. People will turn out for who they love, right? That is just the honest truth. That was why Buhari understood and avoided Southeast and South South, because they have shown the love to Jonathan at that time. He knew that time. At least he understood that during Obasanjo's regime that the love wasn't organic. That if votes were allowed to count, he may have gotten some support in Southeast. But when Jonathan came in, he saw that no, nobody is going to support me in this region. Let me go for a different. But so some of you who also believe that there is a possibility of Atiku defeating Tinubu, good luck to you all, because I do not take Wike seriously. He's not part of the coalition. He has lied. Everything he has ever said, none of them has been truth. So I don't believe whatever he said. He said he will support the candidate who wins PDP. He didn't support the person. He said he will never become a minister or vice president. He was begging for vice president. He lied. In fact, the guy has been living on lies and he's not part of the coalition. So I don't support. I don't take whatever he says serious. He's a liar and a serial one. So I don't take him seriously. So for me, if you are looking at the coalition and someone wants Atiku to head it, I'm not okay with it. But I'm not going to work against an Atiku because my own preferred candidate didn't win. I'm not going to do that. But do I think he will win? I don't believe so. Because the demography I work with, the young people, the students, medical students, or people on that category, I don't know how I'm going to tell them. These people treat people, they see them every day. I'm going to convince them that 81-year-old person is a person who has their best interest at heart. I mean, even the northern herself will not even trust that. And the northern politicians also may not even work in his favor. So again, to be honest with you, if Atiku is there, like I will repeat it. I don't have anything against him. But will I support him to pick the ticket? No, I will not, because I think he's going to. In fact, Donald Duke has not even is not even in the equation. But if you ask me between Atiku and Donald Duke, pick one today, I will pick Donald Duke. If it's a coalition where no other person is going to run, I will pick Donald Duke. That will be better for me. In fact, he has more potential than an Atiku Abubakar. Of course, good luck Jonathan is not going to run, so there's no need putting him in the equation. So for me, if you ask me, that is me. But anyway, those of you who want Atiku to run, there's no problem. He has the national spread, as you guys said. But in reality, it doesn't have. Those things are just PDP structure that helped him in 2019. If PDP had a different candidate and Atiku ran in 2019, he wouldn't have won any of the states he won. That is the truth. So, I mean, me having the spread is a lie. He rode under PDP spread. uh Of course, we saw it again in the last election. Atiku only got 25% in South, where he had PDP governors. These are numbers. Go back and look at it. Where there was no PDP governor, he never got 25% in any of the 17 states of the South. And these were places where he won solidly just 4 years ago. So what changed? These are the questions you people should be asking. So trying to make Atiku look as if there's something special about him. Yeah, there are a lot of things special about him. He's a billionaire. has a lot of money. He has been in government. He was former vice president. Whatever he has achieved is what so many of us would like to achieve personally. But if we are looking at the election per se, and you're looking at numbers, there's nothing magical about him. Yeah, thank you. I believe I've expressed that. So because I want opposition to win, in case he becomes the prime, but I will be going into the election knowing that he has lost it. In fact, if he's a coalition candidate and he wins the election, he will become one of the biggest surprising thing I've seen in my life. But it will be flying the ticket. At least I will believe that he's winning, except he's rigged. In fact, I will believe that he's going to. In fact, you believe that you have the vote first. Because when people keep talking about protecting the vote, you fix another candidate, you no longer have the vote at all. Okay, I don't know whether you were here when Jack was describing what happened in Imo State in the places governorship election, and he said that there were places where only one or two people voted, and nobody even came out to vote. And the governor of Imo State wrote the result, and they put the numbers they wanted. You will not ask yourself, why didn't people turn out to vote in the first place? Because none of the candidates inspired them. That was what happened. Shortly after the 2023 election, so many people were interested in Labour Party. But when the whole this thing happened, and it was Senator Tan and John, and after everything, everybody felt like, what was the essence? Some people tried to mobilize for him, but somehow it was a little bit late. And many people lost interest in the election. The same thing has been repeating itself over and over again. So for you to actually win, you need a candidate that people will support. It's not when you're not supporting the person you're talking about really. First of all, get the numbers. Uh, like 15K people come here and tell me if the 15K man has the numbers that Toby has, he will not be rigged. I mean, but first of all get the numbers now. Why can't you get the numbers? You get the numbers, then you now start talking about protecting. Just like saying, if I have money, I will not, I will be able to save it. I mean, if you are not able to make the money, what makes you believe you will be able to keep it? Anyway, I didn't even want to speak this long on this thing. I don't really want to even take any time to highlight only articles disadvantage or something. But again, the right thing for the man to do is not even to run. That's just the truth. If Atiku is serious about opposition government, the right thing for him to do is not to run and to say I'm not even going to run again. Because people telling him to wait for 4 years, is that's actually mischievous. If he must be president, let him go and join APC. So that by the time Tinubu will finish 8 years, let him go and join APC and support Tinubu. So that by the time Tinubu will finish 8 years, it will be his turn. He will not shout a Minoko like Buhari. If that's it, because all these things are becoming tiring, to be honest with you. Becoming tiring. But I don't understand how he will be vying for office at the age of 80, 81. Waiting exactly in one go do there. What did he leave there that he wants to go and collect? 80, 81 year old. At that age, I mean, there's no work you will find in this life that you'll be given at that time. Anyway, I don't know. Okunri Meta, you can go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, so to be honest, I just all the permutations for this 2027 election. I kind of think um if you consider what happened in 2023 and juxtapose it with this coming election cycle, I just think it's Tinubu's election to lose, if we're going to be honest, because um, unfortunately, we definitely do need a coalition because of the fact that you know none of the candidates, none of the opposition candidates actually has that spread in order to win the election. Peter Obi is he doesn't have that strong base in the north, and Atiku maybe doesn't even have any strong base in the south, and so you need those two guys or someone else who has a very strong base in the north to work with Peter Obi if he's going to win the election. But I honestly don't think it's going to work. I don't think, because, like someone had earlier mentioned, I don't think Atiku is going to, surrender his uh, his ambition for Peter Obi for any reason. I don't think that will happen. But I think that's probably is the best chance that Obi might have in order to win the election, to get a very strong support from the north. But if he doesn't, unfortunately, he won't be able to win the election. That's my thought anyway. And the other thing also that could also play a factor in this election cycle is the fact that Tinubu has already done, 4 years, and the North, as far as I'm concerned, Nigerian politics is all about, interest. They're not particularly interested in whether Nigeria is getting better or not, in my opinion. I think it's more of, power grab. That's what I think, and I feel that the North might be looking at the fact that Tinubu has one more term to go, and then it comes to the North. So if you get someone like Peter Obi in, what will happen in that situation? Are we going to have a repeat of Jonathan's, scenario where Jonathan wanted to go for a second term? So it's also going to work against Obi, in terms of forming that coalition. So I feel that the best chance Obi had was 2023. I feel 2027 is he has a slimmer chance, in my opinion, because the opposition, Tinubu, is going to start consolidating. Even though he has not done too well, but the key factors are going to be in his favor, because now he's the president. He has full control of the INF and everything, and we know Nigerians should not expect a free and fair election anyway in 2027. It's a far cry. It's not going to happen. The only way Obi can win that election is to have, overwhelming support from all across Nigeria. And if he doesn't get that, it's almost impossible. So I think it's Tinubu's election to lose. I just think Obi, Obi can try. He can do as best as he can. As far as I'm concerned, I just look at Obi's candidacy as more of, something like, you know, he probably needs to take more time to build his, his support base, and to build his political, his political bandwidth. I don't think this next election is for him personally. I think he might happen later, but not in this next election. That's just what I want to say.
A metaphor. But so let me ask you. So in the next election, who will you be voting?
Definitely, I'm going to be voting Obi. Definitely. That I think he's the best candidate, but the best candidate doesn't always win in politics, unfortunately. But I'm going to definitely be voting.
So you'll be voting for a candidate you believe is not going to win.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't care if I don't think it's about believing if the candidate is going to win or not. I think it's about what you think is the right thing personally. So I don't think because if I'm going to vote based on who I think will win, then it's between. I don't think Tinubu is a good option for the country at the moment. But look at the projections and everything from my own perspective. I think Tinubu is going to
I don't think Tinubu is going to win anyway.
win.
In fact, voting for Tinubu is a lose election. I'll be voting for the candidate that is going to win. That's why I'm
I,
not going
I,
to be.
I honestly hope Peter Obi wins. If I'm going to be honest, I honestly hope he wins. But I'm just
Uh, I
hoping.
won't, I won't be voting for Tinubu because I know he's going to lose, and I want to be on the winning side. So I'm going to be
do, you- do, you-
voting
do
for.
you do you honestly believe Peter Obi can win the election if it holds today?
Definitely, he's going to win.
And what are your limitations you are looking at?
Nigerians will vote for him and he will win. Majority of Nigerians will vote for him.
Okay, I don't I don't know. I think I was very optimistic in 2023. I actually thought he stood a very, very good chance. A lot of people have said he probably won that election, which is probably true, but I'm not that optimistic now. But let's see what happens. A lot of things can still happen between now and the next election. So yeah.
Because you know why I'm thinking will win because Nigerians are not happy with Tinubu's government. So they are
Absolutely, they are not.
so,
I won't even argue that one at all. It's true.
so they are going to vote for a different person. So if it will be a candidate is going to win.
Yeah. I mean, I think if it's based on if it was in another climate or maybe another country, Tinubu can't even win the next election. He definitely will not perform this horribly and win the next election. But in Nigeria, it's always different here. You know, and then also regional sentiments play
It's
a
not
very
it's not
major
it's
role.
not different, it's the same. For example, no matter how bad you thought Biden performed, in those the opportunity of him losing the election only lies within 7 states or 8 states in America. And
Mm.
there are 50 states.
Those are the
So
swing states.
no matter how bad a Republican candidate is, whether he's government or anything, he's not going to lose the state of Utah, Idaho, and those are deep red states. So it's not a Nigerian matter. That's just the truth. Because the thing when people say all those things, it make it look as if Nigerians don't know how to vote. Nigerians are, I mean, and no matter how bad, I think Chris Christie was one of the few governors from Republican who defeated incumbent Democrat governor, right?
Yeah.
And flipped New Jersey red. But after that time, they returned to blue and have been solid blue since that time. So the thing is always elections. Um, I mean, people like you and support you based on several reasons. Some don't even count policies, right? There was
Yeah.
one person I was talking with, right? I was like, since you're an engineer, you're into fracking, drilling, and all those things. And Democrats don't like fracking and drilling, right? Why would you be supporting Democrats instead of Republican? Why? Because it is them Trump that believe in fracking and why Democrats believe in green energy. The reason he gave me is quite different from the normal reason you will know. So in that regard, despite that his source of work and his expertise is in that, and you are seeing a government that want to phase out your specialty,
Yeah.
you rather vote for them for certain reasons than to vote for the other people. Just because somehow you believe that these people actually. So it's not a Nigerian thing. It's across the world. People vote based on what the sentiments are and all those things. So it's not only in Nigeria that people vote. And people voting in for religious reasons sometimes is enough good reason to vote because people want to have their right to religion, their freedom of worship, right?
Yeah.
and not just anything. For example, there was a case where Republicans who stood by Trump with everything they got, they were angry that someone said prayed, or someone said quoted Bible in one of the Scandinavian countries, and
Mm.
the person was he charged to court for quoting Bible. And
Yeah.
that's a countries where have rich Christian roots in the past, right?
Yeah.
So because now they are turning, they want to embrace, um, what I call it, wokeism or something else, or they want to embrace liberalism, right? They now want to make it look as if even you just quoting the scripture is an offense or something like that. So some of them are angry, they don't want their religion to be criminalized. So it doesn't matter how you want to be look good as a Democrat. They see you as that demon. So it's not a Nigerian thing anyway. It's a human
Mm.
thing. So I think sometimes it's a big disrespect on Nigerians that people begin to believe that Nigerians are the people, only people who vote on sentiments. Even me, I care about religion very well. To be honest with you, I care about freedom of worship. To be honest, that's me telling you my honest, because I know that your religion and value it shapes what you think about, or how you handle things, right? I know when Vivek was running for Republican primaries, right?
Yeah.
Someone told him that, look, you are a vegan, right? You don't eat meat. Me,
Mm.
my work, I am a cattle rearer, so I believe in selling and I work in butcher. So your personal ideals, right? Like Trump will give those people a lot of money, funded those what's it called? Animal farm, right? Animal, whatever, I've forgotten the terms. But he funded people who rear animals. He gave them a lot of money to increase production of meat and all those things. So, in a case where the president is going to make executive order, right, and he's a vegan, do you think that the money that goes on to those animal farmers will be more, or will it be less? And why is he actually a vegan? He's tied more to religion than health reasons. So you know, these are the things we don't want to factor in. But you want to believe that for one or two reasons, people should just throw away their value, their culture, and just jump in and support who you want them to support because this candidate has not performed well. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, so that's what I think. Um,
Well, yeah, you have a good point. Yeah, you do. It's all everywhere, to be honest, when it comes to the sentiments. Yeah, you've made a very fairly reasonable point, and I think it's not something to judge people for. When they decide to vote on one basis or the other, because that's their choice anyway. It's an election, and people should have these choices. But basically, I kind of just think that sometimes our choices are overwhelmingly determined by some things that you just begin to look at, and you wonder if we really care about ourselves as individuals. I mean, about our livelihood, our survival as a people, because this current administration has
the problem I have with the Nigerian setup, metaphor, please don't be offended. Just give us like 2 minutes. Yeah. So the problem I have with the Nigerian setup is this: in the
yeah,
national level, right? Those decisions don't really count. It doesn't matter because those things that you want to protect, right? Your tribal identity, your religious identity. The government does not get involved in it at all, right?
mm, yeah,
So if you are basing it to make um, electoral decisions, it becomes a facade. For example, um, if I live in Southeast, for example, although I don't live in Southeast,
yeah,
um, there's no federal government policy that will affect my religion in Southeast is very difficult, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They are not going to regulate what I do. But if it's in the north per se, it's more, even if it's in the north, it's mostly the state that handles those things. So there is not much federal government policies that will affect. So basically, what the federal government handles is the economy, and education sector, and those are the things that could affect me. So if I now base it on probably religion to vote, it's actually a stupid thing to vote in Nigeria based on religion, because the government is hardly going to interfere with your religion, except it's a military government like Abacha, right? There's
Yeah.
no democratically elected president that can actually interfere with religious practice in the dominant area, right? Like where they are dominant Christian, a Muslim president will not want to reduce it or regulate it. It's not even going to work. It's not even going to try it. It's going to be counterproductive. Where there are majority Muslim, a Christian president will not want to. I mean, those things are going to be counterproductive. The only one they could do is probably in their base, in their offices, and all those things. Like what Obiano tried to do in Anambra State that time. Those ones are actually minute and do not really constitute anything reasonable. So if you are going to vote in Nigeria and you bank on religion or anything, it's actually a problem. You are doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
But that is why, for me, I will not be voting in Nigeria based on religious affiliation. It doesn't make any sense. Even if you, and Buhari, while he was in power, there was no way he would have regulated the religious activities in Anambra State. It was practically impossible. But Soludo is doing it today. So if
Yeah.
I want to vote on religious affiliation, I will be focused on my state governor and not the president. Because in Anambra State today now, there is a law that Soludo is trying to implement where he bans people from preaching in public.
Yeah.
So when I go to Delta State, which is just stone throw from Anambra, if I'm passing in market, you see all these things that people will carry their mic, stay behind market and start preaching and shouting.
Yeah.
They do it in Delta, but if you go to Anambra State, because of one Professor Soludo, they could arrest you if you try it. Uh, so those type. So if I'm bothered about that, and I want to be waking up early morning to be preaching, I will not be voting for Soludo. I'll be voting another person. But I don't think the federal government has the power to do something. I mean, they can do something like that. That cannot inform my decision when I'm voting in federal elections. No. But in state election, if I care about those things, I can actually make those decisions. But Nigeria here is a different thing entirely. People vote based on their religious sentiment at federal level, even when it doesn't really make any difference at all. To be honest with you, it doesn't make any difference. If you ask anybody between Goodluck Jonathan, Buhari, Obasanjo, and the rest, the difference he made in religion, in their religious practice, in their various places, because those people are presidents, the person will not be able to say anything different. Buhari's presidency did not stop Oyedepo from building one of the biggest church auditorium in the whole world in Nigeria. So, but this is the person that so many people believe that is at the center of jihad, that people and all those things. The thing gave him love from the north and hatred from some part of other part of Nigeria.
Yeah.
But again, but he was in power. Oyedepo could build one of the biggest church auditorium in the whole world, and not he couldn't. There was no he couldn't even stop it, because it will be far overreaching for him to even try something like that. But again, people do not actually see it in that way. they do anything. I mean, they consider me personally in a federal election. I will not consider religion. If I'm going to consider religion, it's going to be in the state election where those things actually does will matter because they make direct policies that will affect you daily or everyday life. For example, if I'm someone who doesn't like to see people gather in school to pray in the morning, and there's a governor who is I really don't know whether Soludo will also stop that because the guy doesn't actually know what he's doing anyway. So anyway, so yeah, you can complete your thought. Then move to metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, I probably think much of what I wanted to say. I just wanted to ask, I just wanted to see what you thought about this whole thing. You know, let's assume Atiku doesn't form a coalition with, and who else do you think is a good candidate? You think he should still go on with Dati, or what do you think?
I mean, for Obi, I think Obi has to run. If he actually wants to be president of Nigeria, if he wants to make a statement, he has to run. And I believe I really want him to work with anybody in opposition. That is, I think he should make it enough for him to be the opposition in in the next election. Right? He has to do that. And I also the likes of El Rufai and all the Northerners who are showing interest in opposition politics. If they align with Atiku, that means they are not sincere about being opposition. That's just the truth. Me personally, I will see it as vendetta. And if Obi runs and Atiku gets enough support, because what I'll be hoping is that if Atiku runs and Obi is going to run, that Obi is going to be able to get the coalition people, all the opposition parties, people, whether the El Rufai, the Kwankwaso, the Sule Lamido, and everybody is able to get them on his side to make him the real front and make Atiku the sectional person who will probably not even contest and fizzle out. But in a case that they align with Atiku, I will stick with Obi, to be honest with you, because I will see it as vendetta, right? As a northern vendetta on Tinubu. And for me, I will not be part of northern vendetta on Tinubu. If I want him out of office, is for a specific reason. That thing they did in 2015, I will never be part of it again in my life. So if they want to do a vendetta on Tinubu, they should just, in fact, it does them better when Obi is not part of it, so that if 100% of the Northerners decide to vote Tinubu, let Obi run and also take it South. So at the end of the day, there will be a rerun. That's just what I'm seeing in my own thinking, right? That is my own personal calculation. But the best thing I see, but I believe the coalition will work. I think it will work. I believe the opposition parties will come together. And I believe Atiku will be convinced that he's too old to run, and he will hand over and he will relax and let other people do what they're supposed to do. So if Obi is going to, but the choice of running mate is always the parties that make those decisions. The candidates don't even make the decision in a Nigerian scenario. So the Nigerian government, the opposition party will choose for Obi, who is going to, I mean, the people who gave him the ticket will choose for him, or those who are supporting him will choose for him who is going to be his running mate. So you don't have options on those things. But again, that is just what it is. So that is the way me I'm seeing it too. So I do not think Atiku should even bother himself. And I do not think another Northerner can also I stand a chance of defeating Tinubu. There's no Northerner that can defeat Tinubu. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. There's no Northerner in this next election that can. Atiku is the closest. If he was younger, if he was 7 years younger or 5 years younger, it would have been the person. It would have been the only one who stands good chance, because it will now be okay, divide the north and get block of the south, which is southeast and south, right? But that is not going to happen if Atiku is the coalition candidate. Atiku will lose south and he will lose southwest, and the north will be divided. And in that type of thing, right? Whatever he uses to win southeast will be cancelled out by south and north central, where I think Tinubu may even win. So the northeast and northwest, Tinubu will be very close there. Just if maybe the total difference may not be up to 400,000 in the entire all of them when you finish counting all the results. Then when you now come to southwest, I don't think Atiku will get 25% in any of those places. So if that happens, clearly Tinubu is the winner. So that's just the way I'm seeing it. But his supporters do not want to tell him the truth. They say he's a unifier, he has this, he has that. I wonder how people in their 40s are encouraging someone that is 81 to run for office, and they are making defense for him and saying he brings this to the table, he brings that to the table. This is Nigeria anyway. I don't know why we are doing these things. I mean, you will not bring, when it comes to any decision in your house, when your grandfather is in that age, you don't allow him make most of the decisions. Like you sideline him and only package him when it needs to come out. And when important things that are optional, you don't allow him do work. Don't allow him do most of the things. You just keep him as figurehead. In Nigeria today, do we need a president that will be a figurehead? We don't. But his supporters will not tell him this. They want him to run. And there's no problem. But those in their 40s are advising him to run. They should just have a rethink, because it makes it a whole lot difficult. When you are telling people that this guy is not done enough, it's good when you present someone different. No, I know it worked with Trump and Hillary and Biden, right? But when you still look at that election, somehow, some people believe it was rigged, especially the Republicans. I don't know whether it was rigged or not. But again, that type of thing is difficult in Nigeria as of today, because what Americans did for Biden, at least that time, was a bit younger, and his senility was not showing that much. So they kept him in his basement. He wasn't going out to talk like Trump. But they ran the campaign for him and brought him to the table when it's necessary. So he wasn't the one doing the working. His campaign people, the Democrats, the media, everybody did that campaign for him because they wanted Trump out. So all of them, they gathered, everybody staged. It wasn't his masterpiece. It wasn't his candidacy. The way I can say Obama, it was Obama's masterclass that won him 2008. It wasn't Biden's masterclass. Biden was just kept in the basement. They didn't allow him talk much so that he doesn't make much mistakes. And he talked only when he needed to talk. He appeared only when he needed to appear. He was just saying what those people wanted him to say. And but that type of thing will be difficult for Atiku. So if you want an Atiku's presidency, you're going to keep him in his basement. You make sure it does not appear in public that much. Then you arrange people that will go and be telling people that how bad Tinubu is and all those things. And at the end of the day, hope that people do not mind that even the Tinubu they are using to replace him, so even the article they are trying to use to replace him is not that different, but you bank on your interest to vote him in. So that's the only, that can still work for him, but I think they did that for Buhari in Southwest. If Buhari was the one going about campaigning in Southwest in 2015, people will have more reason not to vote him than to vote him. But guys run that thing for him, kept the guy somewhere, made him look okay. They were going about doing the campaign for him, and until he entered the consciousness of the people. So that's just the way it is. So what they did for Biden will be difficult to be done for Atiku, because he's not even running against a normal person. He's running against a Tinubu now. If you are running against Tinubu, you have to be a good alternative. You have to be a good alternative. Metaphor. Are you still here?
Yes, I'm at work doing my work and at the same time listening. Um, uh, I just wanted to. Sorry, the other time I spoke, I had to just run back in to do some urgent work that I needed to do. So, but then I overheard some folks. Let me say this so I get this settled, hopefully once and for all. I will not engage in any argument with anyone that me and them have the same objective. So, what is my objective? My objective is to give Peter Obi the victory in 2027. Anyone that has an objective, the same objective with me, I have no time for any argument with you. You are not my opposition. If you have strength for argument, channel it to the opposition. Yeah? Don't argue with me. I am not your opposition. I'm trying to achieve the same thing you are trying to achieve. Yeah? So let me just use that to deter anybody that we are both on the same team that is bringing any argument. I am not interested. I will just ignore you. And I think you will just continue to, compound issues, for the team that is trying to, foster Peter Obi's win. I will use this opportunity to encourage those that are behind Peter Obi to less argument among yourself, less argument. If you have energy to argue or challenge anything, shoot that argument or challenge to the opposition. Yeah. And also, I did not say that millions of people did not come out to vote in 2023. As a matter of fact, we know that 2023 recorded the highest number of voters turnout in Nigeria recent history. The highest number of voters turnout. And one of the contentions that Peter Obi had in court was that despite the highest number of voters turnout, look at what INEC gave Nigerians. A total number grossly lower than even the previous election in 2019, despite the fact that 2019 election had a far lower voters turnout than 2023. You know what that spells? Rigging. That spells rigging. Yeah. So my argument is not that the voters turnout in 2023 was less. No, my argument is that if we have 30 million committed voters, I guess that's why the obedient movement now is now discussing registering obedience, because they are trying to ensure all of these things are accounted for, that there's proper, clear account here of the obedient number, the obedient that voted, so that INEC will not play all of these shenanigans. that they played in 2023. So my argument is that if we can muster 30 million committed, obedient members that are going to vote, that are actually voting and not just voting, they are ensuring that they monitor the entire process. Victory will be sure for Peter Obi. And let me just say that Peter Obi is clearly the most favorite contender against the incumbent in 2027. Anyone that is not coming out to vote for Peter Obi is making a gross mistake. Yeah. Because the man won the 2023 election, and the man clearly has the most favorable economic idea for Nigeria. Let me just end the game by saying, anybody that wants to achieve the same thing I'm trying to achieve, don't come and argue with me. Take your argument, your contention, your issues to the opposition. I am not your opposition. If you come and argue with me, I will ignore you. Why? Because you are not my opposition. I will gladly argue with the opposition. Thank you.
Yeah, very important. But there are some things that people are bringing up, defending your votes and all those things. For me, if you ask me, I think it's also very important. But again, there are a lot of things that should be actually that people should look into. If anybody is talking about 2027, right? You are running against an incumbent. I think the wisest thing for you to do is to have a candidate that is also popular and not trying someone who is relatively unknown. I've not really seen where it works, where you use an unknown candidate to defeat incumbents. If you talk about Biden was a household name in US politics before he was used to run against Trump. Obama was a first timer and he wasn't going against incumbents. So I do not think you can win election with a new person. Even when I talk about Donald Duke, though he's not very new, but he's relatively unknown in national politics. So he doesn't have the muscle to go in there. Among the people in opposition, Goodluck Jonathan is in the ruling party. Make no mistake about it. Kwankwaso, I don't know whether it's a ruling party or in the opposition party. So the governor of Bauchi State is totally unknown in the political sphere as a national figure. He's just known in Bauchi State and amongst people who are politically inclined. And people who vote in the election, less than 2% of them are actually the regular people who are politically inclined. There are less than 4% of them. So if I'm going to walk the street of Lagos, asking or enter market where people buy and sell and start asking about Bala Mohammed, not too many people know about him. The popular, maybe Bukola Saraki, yes, he was Senate president, so he was a little bit popular. Or even Tambuwa, he was a speaker at a dramatic time. He was a little bit popular, but not Bala Mohammed. He has no national popularity. So by popularity, it is Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and Kwankwaso if he chooses to be in opposition. And somehow, El Rufai has a lot of popularity. For the right reason in the north, for the wrong reason in the south. And so these are the people who have popularity. Amechi is known, but is not popular. It's a known name, but it's not a popular name. There are two different things. And maybe Kayode Fayemi, also known but unpopular. So if you are going by the most popular candidate is by far Peter Obi. Then after Peter Obi is Atiku Abubakar. So these are just your two best cards to try. And in my own opinion, Obi is by far the best to try. Look at it in any way. Obi can keep two regions in lockdown, and there's a way we go about it. He will extend it to three geopolitical regions, and wherever he wins, he can win overwhelmingly. Obi can get 80% of votes coming from Plateau State. There's a way you vote, he can get 70% of the votes coming from um, even Nasarawa State, because if you add PDP and LP votes in the last election in Nasarawa State, by what was announced, he got close to 70%. Um, he can get still 70% in Abuja. So wherever Obi can win, he can get overwhelming majority of the votes. There is no place that Atiku got up to 52% of the votes in the last presidential election as was declared by INEC. There's not a single state in the whole Nigeria where he got up to 52% of the votes. Not one. And this is someone that some people want to make a presidential candidate to go against an incumbent. Anyway, good luck to all of you if he becomes the presidential candidate.
Alfo, sorry to interrupt you there. I like to think that the obedient management are coming slow because we are not really around the election period time. I might be wrong because I am not a member of that internal management team, but I just like to think that they are not making their plans, public right now, because obviously we are not in the election period. So if they begin to do that, they might begin to interfere with governance in Nigeria and begin to look at some, entity that is disrupting governance. So I think during the election period, the election campaign period time and all that, the obedient movement management may begin to unfold the strategies that they have made out to the entire obedient family, if you like. But I had gotten in touch with one of them and they said they are formulating their strategy that they will come through. And that's all, he said. So, but ultimately, I believe that the obedient management have learned from any little mistakes that were made in 2023, and they will come out with a more sophisticated, formidable strategy to give Peter Obi the win in 2027. But one thing that I noticed personally, and I'm sure most of us did, was that, and like I said before, the 2023 election recorded the largest turnout in recent Nigeria history. And that is a fact. In fact, it also even recorded the largest voter registration in Nigeria history, not even in recent history, in Nigeria history, the largest voters registration.
There's another thing. Even one journalist from outside the country was asking, how can you have that numbers? Then when it comes to voter turnout, you tell, so did they all die? What happened?
Alpha, and that's where the rigging actually occurred. And that was part of the petition or the complaint in the petition lodged at the appellate court up to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, that case was not heard. It was thrown out on technicalities. If that case was actually heard and all the evidences were unraveled, perhaps the current president would have been unseated. But look, I, as a legal practitioner, I respect the doctrines of the Nigerian laws. I will not challenge the decisions of the highest court in the land. I will just respect it, but I have my reservations, especially on the grounds for which those cases were chalked out. But yeah, the justices arrived at that decision. We'll roll with it and we'll prepare for the next election cycle. The issue here is, will we come back well prepared? I believe we will. But like the arguments I've ever always made, Alpha, ultimately it comes down to the people. If we're able to get more people on our side than we even had in 2023, and we are able to get a committed amount of millions of those people, victory is certain. This is very important. Yeah. If we have a committed amount in millions of those people, these people that are committed, as in registered committed, we will now be able to actually monitor our vote independently, and that could be used as evidence in court. Let's not forget that these evidences that is needed in court must speak to the issue of the matter. So the issue of the matter is that registered voters voted in this number, and the number that was declared by INEC was a grossly reduced number. Let me give an example, although I don't like to disclose stuff on public spaces like this, but let me just give a simple example. Where, for example, 10 people have declared that they voted with receipt. Yeah? 10 people have declared that they voted, and those 10 people have their receipts, total 10 receipts. And INEC came out and say only 3 people voted. And then those 10 people will have their receipts that they actually voted. Yeah? Which will dislodge INEC report, in court with real evidence. So that's the much I will give. But all of these will go in the end to help a complaint where a complaint now becomes the issue that can resolve the dispute of the election. So we'll have receipts. Receipt just basically means evidence, because Nigeria likes to use receipts. So I use the word receipts. Yeah. If we can have, like I said before, 30 million committed people that are registered obedient, and all of these 30 million voted, and they have their receipt of their vote, case closed. Let us see where INEC will come through. Say, the total vote that came out was just the total vote from APC, PDP, Labour Party, whatever, just came up to this amount. Really, guys? When, for instance, these 30 million people actually said they voted. Really? Like, really? Yeah. So that's where we are coming through. And I hope that in 2027, all of those little loopholes that were left open in 2020 election will be covered, and INEC will not play the share. Because my aim is really with INEC, malpractices. I don't really have an issue with the security. I don't have an issue with any other. I have an issue with INEC because that's where the game is unraveled. If INEC plays their hanky-panky again in 2027 like they did in 2023, might come back to the same result, the same issue that we had in 2023. And we need to focus squarely on INEC to ensure. And whatever is it that we are planning, we need to apply that INEC is countered, that INEC will not have any other maneuvering part around it. Yeah, because our receipt will be loud and clear. Everybody had their receipt. And not just only that, we also hope that at all the polling units, at every single polling unit in the federation, we are monitoring it. So we'll have layers of receipts already. Yeah, so that INEC will not come and bamboozle, of course, gaslight the entire Nigerian population with their silly, reduced number. Yeah, because frankly, besides the fact that the 2023 election recorded the highest voters turnout, there were so many irregularities in that election that should have even caused the election to be cancelled, and reinstated. Yeah, not just rigging. We saw a lot of chaos and fighting and destruction and all that, enough to even, reinstate that election. Yeah, but like I said, I will continue to respect the decisions of the court. Although I have my reservations, but yeah, that's what it is. All I'm just trying to say is that if we focus on what really matters, that is galvanizing committed voters in the millions, voters that are ready, not just registered, but are ready to cast their vote, hold their receipt of the vote. And we also focus on INEC, like even the current Electoral Act. See if we can even pursue amendments to the Electoral Act that will further close those avenues that INEC may use to, to play games again. All of these things are the most important things for us to focus on, so that we can give Peter Obi the victory in 2027. Yeah. Okay. So that's just what I'm at. I'm not going to really focus on the coalition. I'm not going to focus on the coalition because, to tell you the truth, I don't believe a coalition I don't believe that the opposition needs a coalition to unseat this current government. I don't believe that, because I am a Democrat and I understand the principles of democracy, which is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That is, the government or the people is the government. Yeah. I would have been a lot more afraid if the people have made it abundantly clear, and I'm talking about millions of Nigerian people, have made abundantly clear that they are not with Peter Obi. I will be worried that, yeah, he's likely going to lose. But of course, that is not the case. Yeah, millions of people are solidly behind the man. So that is enough. Yeah, we just need to get millions of people, more people, to join the crowd and be committed to ensure that. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm kind of putting Peter Obi on a pedestal. No. Peter Obi is the caliber of person that we need in government right now because of his skills and his ability to, manage Nigeria economy. Right now, what we are looking for are quality, are experts in this field that can help Nigeria economy stabilize and grow, that can set the foundation that is necessary to build. Because obviously, the man is only going to serve Nigerians for 4 or 8 years. Yeah, and he's going to leave. Yeah. But at this time, we need people that can improve Nigeria economy, because obviously APC has destroyed the economy. In fact, we need such people since 2019. We had need such people since 2019. Buhari just came and destroyed Nigeria economy. Tinubu just came and buried everything, dead. Yeah, we need experts, technocrats, economic developers, since 2019, and we don't have that yet. That's why Nigeria economy is still sinking. So we need these people as soon as yesterday, and we need them to be in government as soon as yesterday. Yeah. And I know that Peter Obi, with him sitting at the helm of government, can rally himself around with all the best brains that we have. There'll be no politicking in economic development matters in his government. There'll be no politicking at all. It'll be strictly down to economic development business. Yeah, that will now begin to see Nigerian lives improve. That's what we are looking for. Yeah. And I knew that this government that is sitting on us now did not have that. It's not any personal thing against Tinubu or anybody. They just did not have that. We saw what they did the first 4 years of Buhari's government. And they even made it abundantly clear again and again that they are coming to continue in that Buhari's government path. And that's exactly what they did. And they further sunk the Nigeria economy. In fact, Nigeria economy just tanked by many of the policies that Tinubu introduced upon resuming office. So, and I've made this argument across the opposition space several times. Even Tinubu's policy has caused Nigeria economy to tank further, and you guys have the temerity to come and continue to make more arguments, trying to, relish where there really shouldn't be any relish. I mean, Tinubu's failure is as clear as day, but he actually said he was going to do these things. That's why people like me ran far away from them. Yeah? Okay. So, all I'm hoping is that Nigerians recognize that they are the government, and the government officials are their employees. I'm not going to listen to anybody that come and tell me you don't know anything about Nigeria government. You don't know anything about Nigerian politics. My answer to them is then abandon democracy. Just give America back their democracy and let's look for something else that works for us. But if we say we are practicing democracy, this is simply what democracy is. Government of the people. Government of the people. The government is of the people, meaning that the people are the one that employ that government. And whether a government is there or not is determined by the people, period. Yeah, and Nigerians just really need to know that they are the one that employ the government. It's not the other way around. And if the government is not doing their job, just sack them. That's what I understand democracy is. That's what democracy is across the entire globe where democracy is practiced. And I don't think that should be different from Nigeria. Yeah, guys, okay. Me, I'm at work. I think they're already even calling me again. Thank you, guys. I'm always just listening.